Hi, my name's Christopher Dave Mitchell. I'm a coach, and today we're going to be discussing the 7 problems with social media. Now, it's not all bad, and I'm going to go on to some great benefits towards the end, but still, there are a lot of problems with social media, especially if you use it in the wrong way and too often. So by the end of today, you're at least going to be aware of the issues that I think are happening with social media, and then you can choose to use it in a right way, which we'll be discussing at the end. So let's get into it. Now, problem number 1 I have with social media is that you naturally tend to compare yourself to others more. And when we look at the studies of social media, we see that people who use social media more are actually more depressed, they're more down, and they're lower in their self-esteem. You naturally compare yourself to others more because you're seeing all these people's stories and bodies and what they're doing with their career. Because whether people are aware of it or not, they will compare themselves to others more often the more they are on social media. And like I say, I think comparing yourself to others is, a recipe for just lower self-esteem, feeling worse about your own life. Because I'll talk about this in a longer video, but I think a lot of people would be a lot happier in life if they didn't have their metric of happiness based on where they're at in the social hierarchy by comparing themselves to others. But that's unfortunately the trap that people fall into when they spend too much time on social media. Problem number 2 I see with social media is that people just talk rubbish on there. Like, just to be frank for a sec, there's people who are saying, I do 20k months and 6-figure businesses and this, that, and the other, and the most, people, especially in the business and marketing world, don't get me started, but there's a lot of manipulation on social media, and there's a lot of people that just aren't telling the truth. So going back to point number 1 of comparing yourself, you're not even comparing yourself to the truth when you're comparing yourself to social media. And one of the things that I've found a bit of a sad realization, but a realization, is that when I've seen people talking about what they're doing and what they're up to on their social media, and then in real life, having met some people, I just know that it's not true. They're not putting out the truth about the money they're making, the relationships they're having, how happy they are. And, it's really sad because then it gets into that comparison thing again. So, yeah, I just see it as a big problem with social media is that a lot of people just flat out lie to make themselves feel better about their lives. But in turn, it makes the recipients, the other people, like I say, feel a bit worse. So that's my problem number 2 with social media. Problem number 3 is very closely linked to these, and it's just that social media is the highlight reel at best. So even if people aren't flat out lying about their life, it's still the highlight reel. It's still the 1% very surface level stuff of what's going on in their life. So it really goes back to problem number 1 again, is when you're comparing to this very surface level aspect, even if it is the truth of someone's life. And again, it's not a healthy game to play, and you can get lost in this because you see that as their truth, even if it is true, but it's not the whole truth. It's not the holistic picture. People are not putting up, generally, their problems, their issues, their vulnerabilities. So these 3 first problems are all interlinked, but it's just the basics that even if someone is telling the truth, just understand that it's the highlight reel, it's the show reel, it's the version of the truth that they want to portray and they want you to see. But again, don't fall into the trap with this, back to problem number 1 of comparing your real truth with someone's surface level truth. Problem number 4 I have with social media is that it's designed to make you addicted to it. That it's made by a lot of the same people who would make people addicted to, say, gambling. So a lot of the algorithms on all these social medias They're getting a lot of data. They're knowing what you like, who you like, and they know ways of getting you back on for more, constantly interrupting you with a notification, say. There's so many different sneaky things that I think a lot of people don't realize that gets people coming back for more, makes them very addictive. When they all made these social media platforms, they know the sneaky ways to keep you on the platform. They never want you going away from that certain platform. So there's so many little sneaky addictive tricks that they'll put into each platform to keep you there, to notify you, to interrupt you, to make you feel like you're missing out. There's a lot of plays on sort of fear and stuff like that. So basically it was designed in a bit of an unhealthy way to keep people addicted to it, which, I don't find very moral. So that's my problem there with that. Problem number 5 with social media is that if you aren't paying to be on social media, then you are the product. And I heard this one by Seth Godin, who's into business and marketing, but he's really one of the more kind, genuine, authentic marketers. It's the marketer I want to be, so I like listening to his stuff. But he openly says that if you're not paying to be on social media, then you're the product. And so when social media was getting everyone in for free, they were collecting data, right? This was the main thing. They were collecting data based on who you are, what you like, what you listen to, what your friends like, and where you live, this, that, and the other. And all the while it feels like, oh yeah, I'll put this stuff into Facebook or whatever, or social media platforms, not just Facebook. A lot of them are all designed the same way. And the master plan of all that was that businesses were going to come along and then market to you, because then all the data has been collected from the people who are on it for free. So if you're on it for free, you're the target. You're the product for all the companies. That's how it was designed. That's how it was always going to be designed, which is why you see such a big hoo-ha in the news at the moment with Apple and Facebook, like having a real battle, because Apple has stopped some of the features on the Facebook ads, and Facebook are in an uproar about it because they depend on the ads. They depend on the ads, and for the ads to be effective, they depend on your data, the data of people who are on the platform for free. So just so you're aware, that's what's going on. And if you're aware of it, fine. I still use social media, and we'll get to that at the end, but it's just the awareness that if you're not paying, then you're the product, and that's how it is. Problem number 6, I think I've got the fingers here, I have with social media is it makes you more of a clickbait person. Now, what do I mean by a clickbait person? I've just made this up. Well, again, whether people are conscious or not, the social media algorithms are strong, very strong, which means that even if you've got, say, 3,000 followers, they will literally put out your post to a tiny percentage of that now. And if you want to reach everyone authentically who have followed you, who already want to follow you, you get into this sneaky trap of having to produce more clickbait type content. So, and I'm not above this. I've been caught in this trap before, but it's because I wasn't quite aware of just what was going on. So you get the feedback of, how well your post's doing based on how many likes you get or how many views you get. So if you get like 300 views back, or if you get 100 views back, you're going to see that as the 300 has been more successful than the other. So then people start putting out more clickbait titles, more shocking things, more like this or that, or sort of like, have you seen this? Or like 6 months in, then this happened. Do you know what I mean? It's more, and then the whole thing gets worse and worse and worse. The whole thing then gets more and more manipulative, because people are using more clickbaity low-level titles to get more views and likes subconsciously. Because if you just put out an authentic YouTube title, I mean, it doesn't get as many views as a clickbaity one. So, and it's the same for all social media. So it's a really difficult trap that you can get into of like lowering your standards almost by doing like posy photos or shots or clickbaity titles or like shocking videos just to get more views, because these social media platforms won't allow you to reach all your audience unless it's something like out of the ordinary. And I think that can be a really slippery downward slope for people. So that's my big issue with that. And then the last point, number 7, is that it sort of introduces the coward mentality, social media. So the example here is that I feel like people can be very nasty on social media, particularly on ones like Twitter, where they can be negative or this was rubbish or like the quote unquote haters here. It's easy to get away with it. It's easy to be a coward on social media because you're not looking at the person's face. You're not face-to-face interaction. So I feel like it's a bit rough, because some of the comments I've had from my YouTube channel say, like, I would never get that in real life. Do you know what I mean? No one would have the balls to come up to me in real life and say some of the things to my face. It would just be incredibly rude. But when you don't have the instant feedback loop of looking someone straight in the eyes and you're behind your safety of your laptop, it's the coward's way of just, typing something and then getting away with it because you can. Now, you shouldn't. You should, be kind on social media. That's what I try and be. And if you don't like something, then walk away. But the people who aren't kind get away with it a lot more because they don't have to look you in the eye and say the things they're saying. And it's just a cowardly way of doing stuff. So that's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that I feel like, yeah, say that to my face, and 99% of people wouldn't. They say they might, but there's definitely the keyboard warriors, I think people will call them, are out there. And they can get away with it on social. They couldn't really get away with it in real life. Think about how many negative comments people get on Twitter. It's terrible. It's horrendous. Even for politicians, if you don't agree with them, fine. But some of the death threats and stuff like that, it's terrible. So, the likelihood is that it wouldn't happen in real life face to face. So that coward's way out that they can do on social media is another problem I find with social media in general. Okay, so that's my 7 problems with social media. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer and all that. But there is positives, and obviously you might be saying, I might get someone saying, yes, this video is on social media. It can be used for good. So, should you be on social media? I'd probably say yes. There's lots of benefits. You can keep in touch with your friends. You can, share your memories, your photos very easily with people who you like. There can be a lot of great educational videos on YouTube. Say, I personally watch YouTube like 10 times more than TV. I find that the stuff that you can find on YouTube when you search well is so much more evolved than a lot of the stuff that's on TV. So there's loads of great things about social media. You can communicate to your audience. You can start a business from anywhere in the world. You can reach anyone in the world. You can create content like this one that hopefully you think is valuable to someone in some way. However you produce that value, it might be a funny video, it might be entertaining, it might be educational, it might just be giving people the awareness so they go forward in a new way. But there's so many great things that you can do. And the great thing about social media is that it's digital content, which means that, it can be viewed as many times as people want. It can be downloaded and viewed instantly, and by anyone anywhere in the world. So that is an amazing, powerful tool. And powerful tools tend to create extremities which means that it brings out the very worst and it can bring out the very best. So there's brilliant ways that you can do it. So go forward and use social media in whatever way you need to, whether it be for personal and definitely for business, but do it in a way of truth. Do it in a way of thinking, is this benefiting other people with how I'm using it? Is this benefiting myself maybe a bit, but more benefiting other people? And when most people are just, sitting around on social media, even the ones who are trying to show their absolute best life, I don't think that's benefiting other people. I would rather put out something like my health story of just showing a bit more of the truth about me being vulnerable and going through a difficult time. I personally think that's my road anyway, because I think that if you can be authentic and honest in this world, it's a better road to go down than always just showing your best self on Instagram. But anyway, however you want to use it, just make sure you do it in a way that elevates others, brings value to other people in whatever way that is. And then I think it can be a beautiful thing. So it's just basically using the tool in a right way. So I hope that's helped for today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Check out my website, christopherdavidmitchell.com. I'm going to have some more courses coming up there, some coaching, one-on-one coaching, group coaching I do as well, some courses on that. Click the like button if you like this, and share it out to a friend who you think has maybe got a social media problem or thinks could be benefited by some of the points I've made here, if it makes them more aware going forward. Because awareness is really key. Once you're aware of the game you're in, then you can accept that and then use it in the right way, which is what I'm trying to do with my channel. So stick with me, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.